welcome back to The Right Routine. I'm Master Joel, the Reluctant Writer's accomplice, and today I have not one but two guests here. First, I have my sister, G the Farrier. Say hello.
Hi, guys.
And I also have my 4-month-old daughter yet again. She is here, quietly sleeping, and hopefully she'll stay asleep. She did a great job last time, though, so, the odds are in our favor. So, at the time we are filming this, it is the week before November begins. So we are still technically in Preptober. How are you feeling about Preptober and NaNoWriMo?
Okay, so I have not been prepping properly.
You've not been Preptobering properly?
I have not been Preptobering. But I have been thinking about dictating one of my shorter stories, and perhaps having that be my goal for November. So, I mean, that's the tentative plan. I really just need to sit down and just commit to it. That's the thing. I need to commit to it.
So what are the obstacles keeping you from committing?
A lot of it has to do with just the mental bigness, if that makes sense. It seems a lot more work than it'll probably end up being.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Well, but you kind of work it up in your own mind to be bigger.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just need to do it instead
Yeah.
of fussing about it so much and overthinking it. So I think I just need to, stop overthinking, get all my tools set up so I can be ready for success, right? Set yourself up for success. And then really and truly sit and say, okay, what is the goal? What's the daily goal?
Yeah.
Right? Am I doing 10 minutes? Am I doing 15? Am I doing 30? Right? Am I doing 5? I can do 5. And then where am I going to do that? So am I doing my recording in my car? Because if I'm doing it in my car, then my recorder needs to be in my car. If I'm going to do it before bed, then my recorder needs to be by my bed. If I'm going to do it while I'm in the bath, I need to have my recorder in my bath. I'm kind of one of those people that if I don't have my tools like right there, it's not happening.
Yeah.
So it needs to be specifically, I have to make that decision. Or it's just not going to happen. So I need to do that. And then I think I need to do a quick, we've already done a lot of work for the chicken story.
How about we give them the backstory about this?
The chicken story.
So this chicken story is awesome. It's going to be probably a middle reader.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not young adult. It's definitely middle reader or children's, right?
Yeah. So I would think, okay, so maybe like your 8-10-year-old.
How
you think like 10-year-old?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So like Milo. Yeah. So like 10.
So
yeah.
Do you mind if I give them a quick overview?
Well, I don't know. Are they gonna steal it? Like
they can't.
No, they can't.
Well, this story is about a boy who is overcoming a very tragic event, and he does it by becoming friends with the chickens that are in their backyard of the new house they move into.
Yeah.
And these chickens are very quirky, but they're very helpful. They help him through the big adjustment that he has to make, not only to fit into this new town that's very different from the old one, but also to his new role in the household and to the big change that his family has experienced.
Yes.
As he processes his grief.
Yes. It's a growing up story, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not an adventure tale. It's very down to earth.
Yeah, it's real life. I feel like well, to a certain, I mean, there is magical elements to this story, but it's real life, and I think a lot of it has to do with, my own family having moved around a lot, and I've seen how that has affected my children, and watching them have to come to terms with new places, new house, all the new people, new schools, constantly changing all the time. And watching how that has really affected how they think of themselves inside of our own family. and their relationships with each other and with me and their father and with everybody else. Yeah, there's residual things for just moving, not even like
Mm-hmm.
tragic stuff, but just moving around. There is definitely residual kind of feelings that kind of manifest with that. And so the story is a lot about growing up and dealing with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you and I have gone through it. I kind of,
Yes.
I begged you to let me help you outline it because I love this kind of
I
stuff.
know. I'm
Um,
terrible.
no, but we managed to outline it. We've started it.
Yes. Well, we talked about a lot of the details. We got a lot of
Mhm.
things hashed out,
Yeah,
which
we
is
need to
part of
find
the
that.
biggest problem.
You know,
Yeah.
that might be what you need is just to find it. Maybe we could go over it again so you don't feel so intimidated by this whole thing.
Yeah. Well, I also need to stop being a sissy. You know?
Stop it.
Stop.
Smack.
I need to pull myself together here
Uh,
and just do it. But I think that's, part of the reason why we have a designated month where you are like,
mhm.
okay, like this is happening.
It happens now.
It happens now. This
You've
is your
put it
time to
off
shine.
all year.
Yes.
You
This
had the
is
New Year's goal to write a book, and now it's
and now
November.
it's November.
Get it together.
Time's a ticking, y'all. Time's a ticking.
Yeah.
So yes, I okay. Maybe just on here, I will fully commit to dictating this chicken story, and we'll see how it goes. And perhaps by the end of the month, there'll be something of substance that we can work with.
There will be.
Yeah.
So, how about we go through the SMART goals
Okay.
of
Yeah.
this right now? Can we do
Mm-hmm.
that now?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So, I've noticed, and I'm actually writing about this in my free ebook that hasn't quite been perfected and published yet,
You're
but it
so
will be.
clever.
I know. It's one of those things I haven't quite done it yet. We're in the second draft, but it's still a mess.
Okay, well, you know
So,
what? At least that's something you've got to do.
well, I dictated it at first.
Really?
Yeah, it was awesome because I was able to
Uh,
get the jumble of ideas that I had kind of organized and able to think through things.
yeah, you'd
And,
process this while you're like
mhm.
talking.
And then as I
Yeah.
typed it out, it was so much easier because I didn't have to think, oh, what comes next? It just
Yeah.
spilled out.
I kind of like that about the dictating.
It's
Where it's
really
just
great.
like you're thinking, well, I process stuff by talking anyway. It's like when we're talking about stuff, a lot of it isn't even formed, but you talk
Hmm.
and then you process, and it's like, oh, your brain figures it out.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's kind of cool. You dictated it.
super cool. Also very convenient time wise.
Inconvenience. Oh
Oh, what
dear.
is that from? Oh, it's barely an inconvenience.
You
Oh,
know
it's
that guy
that
that does the
the meeting room, the
yeah, yeah, yeah,
pitch
yeah, yeah,
meeting,
yeah, the pitch
pitch
meeting.
meetings
I
guy.
love that. It's
I haven't
barely
seen
an
any of his
inconvenience.
videos in a long time.
He does other stuff too, though. Like the
Well,
first person, like the first couple to get married, first like divorce or like whatever it is.
yeah,
Yeah, he's funny.
it's funny. Anyway, I guess I haven't seen his because not a lot of good movies have come out that I've wanted to watch. That's its own topic.
We could do a
Moving
whole
on.
nother thing about that.
Ugh, I know. Big sigh, baby girl. Big sigh. Moving on.
Oh, okay.
Um, so I've noticed that it's great to have two SMART goals. Let's talk about the overarching one.
Mm.
So with NaNoWriMo, it's usually pretty easy, and I'm just going to spout some things out, and you can yay or nay
Yeah, okay.
things.
Yeah.
So it seems like your overarching goal is to have this, um, let's say middle reader. Oh shoot, I don't know which one it is.
I
It's
think the
the end of the
same
day for
thing.
sure. Middle grade, middle
Middle
reader.
grade is
I
okay.
think it's
So
middle
middle
grade.
grade is middle school, is
Oh
right?
gosh,
Because it's the middle grades.
I don't know anymore. I've been
It's
awake
a
for too
story for
long.
10-year-olds. We're just going to stick with that.
Your story.
Well, I guess 11 is considered middle school because you're in sixth grade. So it's middle grades.
We're gonna call it middle grade, okay? And just know we've been up with kids all day.
We're
So
so
shush.
smart.
We've used our smarts today already.
They're
They're all
gone
used
now.
up.
You're, you're not getting the best there is right now.
No.
Oh dear.
Anyway,
Okay.
so you're writing this story. It's not going to be terribly long.
No. Mm-mm.
Um,
It's like I really want it to be very like
It's pretty
very
concise.
simplistic, just very put together. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's sorry. The usual goal for NaNoWriMo is 50,000 words. I don't think yours will be more than 30-ish because it's not going to be a full like big book.
No, I
Not that this
mm,
has anything. I'm just going to cut that part out. That doesn't matter. Let's go back to the middle grade confusion, which I may also cut out. Let's just cut that whole thing out. Actually, no, I liked it. It was funny. We're going to continue on. Where were we?
well, so I don't think my overall goal is going to be so much, words
Mm-hmm.
or pages or whatever. What I want done is it to be fully, the whole ideal of it to be fully dictated out by the end of the month.
Beginning, middle, end, all dictated.
Yes.
Finished.
Yes.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So, are you going to do this every day, just on weekdays, just on the days that you're working as a farrier?
Yes.
Where's the most convenient place for you to sit down and focus? Is it while you're driving?
No. No. Driving's a bad idea.
I can't do it while driving either.
No. I can't multitask. No. So not while I'm driving. What would be a good time is when I'm actually getting ready to settle down for the evening.
Okay.
So like when after I'm in my pajamas, I'm in bed, the boys are all settled down.
Mm-hmm.
We're that usually happens after dinner. Let's say like 6 o'clock. The boys get their little hour of iPads starting at 6. It'd be very easy for me, to take my bath and then get in my pajamas, sit down and say, hey, I'm doing 20 minutes of
Mm-hmm.
dictatorship.
Dictatorship.
Dictation.
I will
Dictation.
dictator this book. Watch me.
It's been a long day.
It's okay.
We're gonna
I love it.
this dictation.
That's what you should name your dictation device. The dictator.
Dictator. That's happening. I'm gonna put a little piece of tape on it.
Hello, my name is.
The dictator.
Oh,
Okay.
please do.
It's
If you
happening.
don't, I will.
It's happening. Anyway, dictating for 20 minutes.
Awesome.
I think 20 minutes is good.
Oh, that's
It's
awesome.
good.
Yeah.
I think 30 minutes is a little bit too much.
No,
10 to
really,
15 is not enough. 20 is pretty good.
I'm just going to be saying this phrase a lot. I've noticed
Yes.
that with mine, once the hardest part is getting started. Once I
Right.
get started and actually into a scene,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm good. It usually takes me about 6 or 7 minutes to get started.
Yeah, I think your brain kind of, you have to switch modes.
You do, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's if you give yourself the goal, okay, I have to dictate for 5 minutes, for 8 minutes, 8 minutes is mine, then even if there's a lot of awkward pauses, that's perfectly fine. But you can't stop until those 8 minutes are
Is it
done.
is it hard for you once you get going to stop? Like do you find that once you kind of get over the awkward, okay, I'm doing this, whatever, but once you get going, is it hard for you to stop?
Yeah, I get annoyed
To
if
happy to stop because you're focused.
yeah, like if I'm walking and someone I know waves and comes over to talk to me, I'm like,
No,
and I
don't do
press
it.
pause on it. Hi, okay, bye. And so I can keep dictating my book because I'm already in it.
Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So I will say 20 minutes would be the goal.
Yeah.
And if it's more than that, that's fine, but
Oh yeah.
at least that gives me
Plenty of time
a
to
good
get
start.
into it.
Yeah, it gives me a
Mm-hmm.
chance.
Um, have you? Well, I feel a bit bad. I'm not gonna say that actually. Hold on. So we went through the outline of your book, and maybe we could
Yes.
revise that while we're here together. Um, are you still kind of thinking of sticking to it? Because there was that section with the kids from school.
Um,
Um,
yes, I want to stay with the general idea that we went through. I'll find if I get going and it starts to get more complicated than what I'm feeling it needs to be, I might cut it, but I
Mm,
really would just like to get through the idea first and then
nice.
find out if it's too emotionally chunky.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So this first time around, I think I'm just gonna stick to the idea that we figured out
Okay.
and go from there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So the overall goal is definitely get the first draft,
Yes.
beginning,
A
middle, end,
to be straight through,
mhm,
get it done.
dictated all
Mm-hmm.
out
Yep.
by the end of November.
Yep.
And you'll do that by dictating
20
what
minutes.
when you're in bed,
Mm-hmm.
for 20
20
minutes
minutes.
every day or every weekday.
No, it would have to be Monday to Thursday.
Monday to Thursday. Okay.
Yes. Our weekends are off. The
Mm,
boys don't have school on Fridays, and John doesn't have work on Friday either.
yeah.
So our weekends are kind of
Yeah.
weird. We don't have a schedule. So,
Cool.
yeah.
Well, you have committed. I have video evidence.
It's gonna come bite. It's gonna like come back and bite me in the butt.
I'll
No,
come
it'll be
back
good
and
for
bite you.
Mom said not to.
Mom's not here.
Mom's not here. Oh man, yeah, that'll be good. I'm actually kind of feeling excited for it.
You should
I
be.
usually don't. I kind of dread. I kind of dread the
I
month. I was
know.
like,
I
I should
know.
be doing this, and
No,
I'm
as soon as you
not.
start, you'll enjoy it though. You just have to
Yeah,
get through the first week,
yeah.
and then you'll be like, "Oh, I'm doing great." And you'll bust through it so much faster than you think you will.
Yeah, what are you doing for it?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a big topic. Okay, so I actually made a podcast all about that.
Did you? I'll
Yeah,
have to
I
go to
posted
watch
it
it.
published yesterday.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, well, I had done two. I
Oh
called it the
wow,
Preptober Brewing, the Ripe Preptober Brewing.
I love it.
I know, I thought it was pretty cool.
I love it so much.
I thought it was great. And then I had to redo it because I had planned an entire novel. Unfortunately, I'm going to a foreign country and I'm not going to have a lot of time, you know? So I had planned an entire novel and it's awesome. I really like it. I don't know the. I'm still not sure exactly how it's going to work. We can talk about it later.
Okay.
But I planned an entire novel. It's going to be freaking awesome. But I'm going to another country for an undetermined amount of time because we don't know. For those of you who don't know, my husband is Mexican and he was accused of being deported, which we can prove is not the case, but no one in immigration cares about proof or facts. So we have been waiting for going on 4 or 5 years now. I think it's 4 years to get this whole process cleared up. We don't know when it's going to be approved. We're just in limbo, and we have been for years. So I have to come here to give birth without my husband, and then I go back to Mexico. So now's the time when I go back to Mexico. And I'm ready just to be in the US and stay home. Blah, blah, blah. Poor me, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so we're going back to Mexico at the end of this week, before the end of October, just a few days before. So my whole plan of writing a novel is not realistic because I will have not one, but two children under the age of 2 who will be adjusting to not just a new house, but a new country and new sounds, a lot of them, and new food and new people and a new language. Kind of. I mean, my son was there for a while, but I'm pretty sure he's forgotten all of that. Most of it, at least.
He'll probably suck it up real quick.
I hope so. I hope he'll be better at speaking Spanish than I am someday. His mind's a mess. Anyway, uh, so it's no longer realistic. So I thought, you know what? It's November. I want to do something big.
Yeah.
So also, I keep thinking when I'm a published author, I'll be able to say, oh, yeah, I'm a published author. Here's how I've done it.
Right.
When I have written, I won't say several books, but I've written a few books. Mm-hmm. I know how to get a first draft done.
Yeah.
When it comes to revising things, I'm still figuring that out.
Well.
But I can bust out a first draft. And I really want to be published. Really bad. And it's going to happen.
You can feel it in your jellies.
I can feel it in my jellies. And the easiest way that I can think of to do that is going to be to write children's books because they're shorter.
Yes. Yeah.
And then I can just keep sending them out. So I've written several. I made a list in the last podcast. There were like 7 books on there. And I've heard that if that you need to publish children's books not one at a time, but you need a group of 2 or 3 to publish at a time. I don't know where I
Right.
heard that or if it's true. It was on YouTube somewhere.
You've done a
It,
lot of research with all these. Who knows?
yeah, no, it must have been from a YouTube video,
Mm.
probably about from agents or about writers. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
One of those that I always listen to. Um, so the only children's books of mine that are kind of in a group that could be sold together are the Baby Shark ones.
Yeah.
Because I have
Yeah.
3 stories already, and
Mm.
they're inspired by my son when he before he had any teeth. Now he has way too many of those things. But now I could change it because he's older.
Does the group of books have to be like together,
I don't know. I
or is it
don't
just
think
like a
so.
group?
I think it could just be a group, but if they're all together, then I'll be able to keep my head in the same spot
Right.
as I'm editing them.
Right. Yeah.
So, that's the idea. The idea is to go through, they're all dictated, they're not actually written down. So, get them transcribed, right? Is that the right word?
Nothing's going on in my brain right now. It's
Get
not a good
them.
time. This is not a good time.
We're just going to skip that. So, my NaNoWriMo goal is going to be to listen to those, type them out,
Mm-hmm.
um, edit them, edit them, send them probably to you or to Rachel, edit them, edit them, send them again, maybe to Benjamin. I have lots of people to send these to. And then by the end of the month, I already have a few days set aside to find to write my query. I have 2 days for that.
Right.
And then end of November, the last day, I start querying this this
I'm
little
so proud
series.
of you for doing that.
Well, I haven't done it yet.
I
This is
know,
just the
but it's
plan.
on your goals. I'm so proud of you. That's like not even like, yeah. I don't know.
They're short stories,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Mhm.
they're not tiny, but there's 3 of
No.
them, and I think I can do it. And if I did, it would be awesome because then I could move on and do like maybe 3 books for every year of life he has as he gets older.
Yeah. Yeah.
The character changes,
Yeah.
right?
That'd be really good to do.
I think it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, you could be to like beginning, middle, end of the year.
I could do that. I could. Well, and that's kind of how I did it with these other books. I just didn't realize it
Yeah.
because one of them is before he has any teeth. That's how it started. But then he got teeth. The thing is, he had 8 teeth before he was 8 months old, but his first tooth came out when he was 3 months old.
Yeah.
Those 5 months were awful. So were these last months when he got not 4, but 8 teeth again. He's got 16 now. Poor kid. And he's not even 2. Poor me. Gosh, that dating crap is ridiculous. Anyway,
Oh.
that's the roundabout way for me to say that here's my NaNoWriMo
No, I
plan.
think that's great though.
Yes, I hope so. It's just nice, like you said, it's nice to have a single month. Like, oh, okay, it's go
Like
time.
this is it. Like
This
this
is
is
it.
the designated time.
So yes,
Good.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, now we're gonna sit here and think about something else to talk about.
No, remember we were talking about earlier.
What were we talking about
Like what makes a good story, what makes good characters,
Awesome.
what things
Okay.
that drive us nuts.
Okay, okay. Start the camera real quick. Okay, now that we talked about that, let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about characters. What makes them awesome and what makes them awful? Because we both know there have been some awful characters that have ruined things.
Okay.
Okay, we actually got this idea from the new Snow White that's coming out.
Oh my
And
gosh.
that whole mess. I can't handle it. Maybe I shouldn't say that because I shouldn't be getting political on these things,
It's not
but I also
political.
want to
It's
be
just
authentic.
straight up. It's terrible. Like
I
I
can't
don't think
handle
you can
it.
even like. It's not even about politics. It's just the fact that the writers got lazy, and you can tell every time there's a movie that comes out, and the writers have been lazy. You know, it's not
It's just not
hard.
enjoyable. It's
No,
just full of
no. I mean,
There's not character development. All the characters are the same except for the main character.
Well, and it's this whole thing where the main character is special for for no reason.
And people like them for
For no
no
reason.
reason.
I don't know.
Hate it.
I
What was it? We kind of mentioned we were chatting about this earlier a little bit.
Yeah.
And maybe we should get past the things we hate. Maybe we should talk about things we like instead.
Well, about stories that we like.
Mm-hmm.
There's a series. I love this series. I come
Yes.
back to it every single time. But it's the Written in Red
Yes. I haven't.
by Anne Bishop.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that series, I love it. And it's because I hadn't read a series like that. I find it to be unique. And I read a lot.
The magic system behind it, you could say, is so well thought
Right.
through.
So she, I
Very,
mean, so
very
she
nice.
puts in, I mean, it's got the vampires, it's got the wolves, it's got the things, but it's not the same. It's not
Mm-mm.
just the typical whatever.
No, it is really well written.
And it's so interesting. Her characters are very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I love that series.
It's really good.
And I listened to it on Audible, so I read them and then I have them on Audible.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they still bring me joy every time I read them, but it's because they're not a mindless read. There are books that I read that are for just kind of mindless entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like there's movies that are just mindless entertainment. You don't have to think hard about it. They're not particularly clever. They're just, oh, this is okay, and your brain can go elsewhere for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
But I I like the stories that you can't be mindless when you're reading them. They have unique systems, they have unique characters, and it's not like the characters are just the ones that get played over and over and over again. Like, what are we talking about? Um, I don't know. So there are stories I like where there's no like defining line on who is the good guy and who's the bad guy.
No, you had mentioned a story where the protagonist fell in love with the bad guy who
Oh,
actually
yeah.
wasn't the bad guy.
I hate that too. That's another thing I hate. It's
Can you
like,
explain that one to them?
yeah. So in these stories, it's usually, like a romance story, and you know, the bad guy or the anti-hero or whatever it is oh so terrible and scary and he's a murderer and whatever. But by the end of the story, it's like, oh no, he's just misunderstood. He didn't really kill those people.
He
He
just took
just
the
took the
blame.
blame for somebody else, or those people were actually bad guys, so it was good that he killed them, right? I hate that. I hate that so much. If he's gonna be a bad guy, he better be a freaking bad guy.
Well, here's something I kind of mentioned, something I'm noticing, and I don't quite have a clear way of explaining it yet.
Uh-huh.
Maybe we'll try this out. I With books that don't resonate with me, it's because the characters act the way they should, not the
Right.
way they actually
Are.
act.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, oh, all of the men, they're gentlemanly
Mm-hmm.
and they're polite
Right.
and they're generous
Mm-hmm.
and they give the benefit of the doubt.
So,
And the women are gentle and the women stand up for themselves, which is perfectly fine. But how many people do you know who actually do that? It's just not
right. So it's like
accurate.
this like weird perfection, and
Yeah.
that's how you know they're good.
Yeah. Like, why can't we have. I was talking about this to mom, and I was like, I have this idea for a mystery series where well, actually, what happened was I was like, Mom, I'm tired of these mystery stories where the inspector figures out who the bad guy is and the bad guy got rid of a horrible person. And the inspector decides, oh, well, justice has to be met.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Does it though? Maybe that's just maybe I'm a horrible person, but oh, she knew her husband was doing horrible things to the rest of her family, and
Yeah.
she killed him, but she needs to be brought to justice. Are we improving the world by doing
Well,
this?
it's just like,
It's
okay,
the story just doesn't
no,
resonate with me, you
no.
know?
It's just like when in those kids movies, sometimes like in Disney and sometimes, in other movies where it's like, no, you can't kill them. You would just become
Oh,
we're not like them.
oh.
We're better than that. I'm like, no, you're not. Kill that guy.
Maybe are we horrible?
I
We
don't know.
might
Maybe
be.
we are. I get so
Yeah.
tired of it. I get so tired of it when the hero can't just take care of business. Part of being a hero is making hard decisions and doing the right thing, even if that makes you the bad guy.
You know what I heard? This is kind of unrelated, kind of not.
I don't know.
So we're big into Ninja Turtles, right?
Oh yeah.
Halloween, Ninja Turtles, four of us sisters. It was
Oh
awesome.
yeah. Raphael.
Anyway,
Woo!
I was Michelangelo. I made those turtle shells out of
I
cardboard.
know they were really
It
good.
was awesome. Anyway, aha, let me just polish my nails on my shirt there. So, my husband was telling me about those. He's big into Ninja Turtles too,
Yeah, yeah.
which is part of why we got married. No, it's not,
That
but
is
it was a
the
delightful
reason.
surprise. um, he said, it's interesting looking at, or I don't remember if he realized this or if someone said it in an interview or something, but the different turtles have different strengths, right? And Splinter chose or gave them weapons to learn based on what they needed. So,
Oh,
for
interesting.
example, Michelangelo, he's the laziest. There, and I think he did get this from an interview by the creators or someone
Or
who
some,
is making the
yeah.
story. And they said, somewhere in the series, they say Michelangelo has more talent for martial arts than any of the other turtles, but he's the laziest.
Mm,
So he doesn't compare. That's
right.
why Splinter gave him the nunchucks, one of the most difficult weapons to master. So he had to
So he
practice.
had to.
Donatello, he's a
Interesting.
genius. He's very techy. He can build incredible things. What does he get? He gets a stick. He gets a piece of wood, a simple, straight
Oh,
one to fight with. Raphael, he's very aggressive. He's very, very just. He'll make the hard decisions happily. But size are defensive weapons. They're not made for attacking.
that sneaky devil.
Leonardo is the leader. He's the most compassionate of all of
And
them.
he has the
He's the
swords.
one who Splinter gave permission to by giving him these swords to make the decision whether he should kill or not.
Dude, that's fantastic.
Isn't that so deep?
That's so
He
fantastic.
took Ninja Turtles to a completely new level.
I have a much better appreciation for such things now.
I know, isn't
I
it?
loved them
It's
before.
great.
I really love them
I
now.
really love them now. We should rewatch those. Have your kids watched those?
I think, I think one. I think I had them watch the first one.
The first one is the best one. Anyway,
We'll have to. We'll have to make that a movie night thing.
yeah,
John is also into Ninja Turtles.
awesome. Did you know that my son has Ninja Turtle PJs? Michelangelo ones. I'm so proud. Anyway,
Oh man.
where are we going with this? Characters,
Yes, yes, yes.
weaknesses, strengths, and all that.
Yeah, but it's like I hate that. Super, all the superhero movies.
Yes.
Right?
Oh,
No, you can't kill them. No, you can't do
it's like
that.
the
Blah,
eternal
blah, blah.
struggle that they just can't get over, and it drives me up the wall.
Gosh,
Maybe I'm a
take
terrible
care
person,
of it.
but gosh, it gets me every time.
No, it makes me angry. Like I physically get mad, and my husband's always like, "You need to like chill up. It's just a movie. It's just a movie. You need to chill out." I'm like, "No, they didn't do the right thing."
Well, it's like, okay, in order for your conscience to stay calm and tranquil, this bad guy is going to escape yet again and do horrible things again, but
No, but I think like
you're gonna feel okay. So it's all right for you to not
right.
make
No,
this big
being the
decision.
hero means that you're taking on the responsibility of that darkness.
Right. Well, you're working outside the law anyway. This has become a whole.
This,
a whole
we should probably
kind of
stop.
podcast.
We're getting worked up over here. No, but that drives me nuts. I hate that in stories. It drives me nuts.
Changing topic a little bit. You mentioned Tokyo Ghoul.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, okay, so
I haven't watched them. That's because I have postpartum depression and it would get to me and I can't handle it
that
right
would
now.
be dangerous for you. I like Tokyo Ghoul
Yes.
because you don't just see this side is good, this side is bad,
Well,
right?
tell me a bit about what the story is. So you mentioned there's ghouls and there's
It's very
humans.
complicated.
Can you
Okay, so there are ghouls, and the ghouls eat bodies, eat
bodies, like
people.
living bodies or
They
dead
eat
bodies?
both.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but they eat people.
Okay.
Okay, okay. And then there's the hunters
Okay.
who kill them, right? Okay. It's complicated, but I like that, in part of it, there was a woman ghoul who and her daughter, I believe it was.
Okay.
And the hunter killed the mother, like in front of the daughter. Okay, and they use it's it's complicated. Okay, like, but the weapons that the hunters use are like the kind of body part weapons of the ghouls. It'll make sense if you
Is it
what.
like Inuyasha where they have weird weapons that like suck up energy from the demons they kill?
Nah, it's way too complicated to go into
Okay,
this. So
well,
just trust me. It's like, okay, let's just say that, somebody murdered our mother and then was using her like eyeballs to come
oh,
hunt us.
oh
Okay.
man, I'd be livid.
Okay. So that's this like kind of the situation that
Okay.
we're dealing with here
Mm-hmm.
between these two parts, right?
Okay.
Okay. Well, so when you see this scene, right? Who's the bad guy? The hunter's the bad guy. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
this is horrific, right?
Right.
And you feel a ton of emotion and you're like super ticked at it and it's horrible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, then you go into his life
Mm-hmm.
and his wife was brutally murdered by ghouls. And see, and now you're
Oh,
like,
changes
oh
the game,
no,
huh?
like now you feel a whole bunch of empathy for this person and who's the bad guy? Whatever. I
Mm,
mean, in the story, there's obviously bad guys and weirdos and like they all have their levels,
yeah.
but you can't just be like, these are the good guys and these are the bad guys. Yay, let's
And
just
isn't
start a
that
team.
nice? Because that's life.
But and I like that is because I mean, we all have good and bad.
Right.
We all make decisions that can be seen as good as bad, right?
Yeah.
We're all the heroes and the villains of somebody's story,
Some chapters of somebody's story.
right?
Right.
But I like being able to see that where now it's not just good guys, bad guys, this is my team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now it gets to individuals, where now you have to make decisions about the individuals. And you could like individuals who are directly opposed against each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that
Nice.
because it makes you think about yourself.
Yeah.
Like, who are you? Why do you like these people?
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna plug in the computer real quick. Can you actually lean down and plug that bottom part into the extension cord stuck in the wall?
Kind of. Yes.
Yes. Good work. Excellent work.
It did?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is going
So
great.
I like those kinds of stories.
Mm-hmm.
I was also watching oh no, what is it called? It's that time of night. I can't
Phantom
remember.
of the Opera, Harry
No,
Potter and Snape.
no, no, no. uh no, it was a different one. You probably what is it freaking called? I don't know what it's called.
Is
I'm
it?
sorry.
Have I seen it?
No.
Oh, okay.
You haven't seen it.
I can't help you.
But it's based on a video game and it has a girl called Jinx in it. And I'm sure as soon as we're done with this podcast, I will think of the name. but I can't. So anyway,
If you think about it, I'll put the name on
You'll
here
put the name.
so we can see it.
Anyway, I can't think of the name. It'll come to me. But in this, there's also kind of like that duality, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's this guy, um, and he is like, you begin, and he's the bad guy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he's the villain. He's been spreading like this drug around, and like he's trying to get revenge against this one guy who raised like Jinx and her sister, and it's crazy. But Jinx ends up going with them, and he ends up having like a father relationship to her.
Mm-hmm.
And at the beginning of the show, like, I hated this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Hated him. He's a freaking drug dealer, and he's a
Mm-hmm.
murderer, and he's a psych. Like, I hated him. By the end of that show, he was my favorite character. I mean, he was a bad guy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
no excuses, none whatsoever. Could not, no. He's the bad guy. But I loved him. He was my
Mm-hmm.
favorite character. But it's because throughout the whole like show, you got to see the good and bad of all of them. They were all
Mm-hmm.
making decisions where I was like, ooh, bad decision. Good guys making bad decisions. Bad guys making these decisions. And you really have to think about it. Like, who are you and what do you value?
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes the values that you have, you're going to end up aligning with a bad guy
Mm-hmm.
or what's perceived as a bad guy. Or, I mean, sometimes they are a bad guy,
Yeah.
but it's kind of interesting that way. And I think that's why when I'm reading a book, if it's a bad guy, they better be a bad guy. And
Mm-hmm.
she can love him,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
But come to terms with the fact that you love a bad guy.
It's like
So,
that the big book you and I, well, your big book, the one that I really
oh, yeah,
wanted to
yeah,
help you
yeah.
on because it's awesome and I want you
I
to
know.
write it already.
That's next. That's next. Oh,
Well, and you would I convinced you to change it a little bit by adding the werewolf guy.
I'm actually excited about that.
Really? Okay,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
thought you had mentioned not doing that, and maybe I misunderstood, and I was like, no, that's the
No,
best
I'm doing it.
part.
I'm doing it. There might be some things I might tweak a little bit about it.
Mm. Gosh, I'm
Um,
so excited. I just want you to write it.
I know.
What do I need
I
to
get
do
it.
to get that book into
I just gotta
existence?
stop being a prissy pants. That's all there is to it. Like, I just got to do it. But I get obsessive, and you know that. Like, we've talked about this. I get obsessive, and I get very
Perfectionist.
yeah, and it's just bad. Like, I gotta
Well,
let
this
it
is
go.
why dictating is perfect for you because you
Yeah,
can't go back and scribble it out and rewrite it.
I know. I know. So, if I get I will get the chickens done this year.
You will. It's
And
going to be
then
awesome.
once I get the chickens done, I can start working on my big book.
Oh, I'm so excited. I love that story.
I know.
So many times I'm like, you know what I need right now? I need to read that story.
I know. I'm sorry. It
Oh,
will be put out into the world
I'm
one
so
day.
excited. So good.
I need to work on it.
But what I wanted to go through was the werewolf guy
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
how he kills people.
Yeah, he's a bad guy.
Well, I mean, he's a werewolf.
Yeah.
Like
No,
he
but I
eats
mean, he's
people.
vicious and he eats people. That is a fact. Yes, it is.
But he's
Sorry,
also
not sorry.
but he's also awesome.
Yes, he is. And he's good
And he's good
for them, yeah.
for them, for
Mhm.
yeah, these people who need him. And it's just so wonderful. It makes me so happy.
I'll write it. I know.
Good.
She's been getting after me for this for a
Hold on.
long time.
Didn't I start
For a
writing
long
it for
time.
you? I'm
Yes.
so desperate.
Yes, I know.
That's a little pathetic now that I say that out loud. I'm
It's not
sorry. Maybe that's a
pathetic.
bit too
It's
much
just
pressure I've been
no,
putting on you.
it's not. These people understand, I'm sure.
Oh,
But
it's
no,
just
it'll
so
be out
good.
there. But it's just the whole thing about that. And maybe I don't know. With and you asked me the question about, what makes a good story a good story?
Yes.
That's a hard question. Do you find that to be a hard question? I mean, like
I
for
can't put
you,
my finger on it, but I know when
see, I
something is a good
can't
story.
either. Okay, so when you pick books
Mhm.
for Joseph, okay, You're thinking about books you want to share with Joseph.
The little cardboard ones for now.
But I mean, let's think about you building a library for him. Picture books. Let's think just like plain old children's story picture books.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you choose?
Choose ones that don't have crap in them, for sure.
I mean, right.
Choose ones that have a lesson.
Okay, but what kind of lesson? Because there's tons of lessons. What
There
kind
are
of
tons
lesson?
of lessons, but ones that are applicable, ones that are something that rings true. You know, these lessons where, oh, here's this person, and they've always been amazing. They've always been unique and different. I mean, good at everything and always been right. And oh, in this story, they continue to always be right. And
Mm-hmm.
there's a problem because people didn't listen to them. And
Yeah,
they
I
just
get
had
it.
to be true to themselves and them always being right and trust that they're always right. And then eventually people see that they're right and the problem's solved. What? Just bash me in the head with a baseball bat. No, thank you. That's horrible. I don't want to read that. But things like going to the movies, not literally going. Speaking of movies, switching from stories to movies because I do not read nearly as much as I want to and as much as I should.
I read too
Mostly
much.
because
I need to cut it out. That's my problem. I need to
maybe
cut it
I
out.
can give you either my schoolwork or my job, and then you can give me your reading. We'll trade. No, but you have long drives and you do a lot of listening on Audible and stuff.
Yeah, but I also find, okay, I find that reading to me is how so if, all right, full disclosure, I suffer from depression. Okay. Like, and I've been doing really good about dealing with it, but I find that if I am experiencing a low of some kind, like I'm starting to like dip,
Mhm.
one of the symptoms that I can recognize and be like, oh boy, like I need to fix something so I can not do that. One of that is constantly reading.
I do that too.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
mean that is like the first step.
Yeah.
If I have to have a book and I read very quickly, I can get through a book 300 pages a day, right? Sometimes more than that. But if that's happening and I'm doing that every day for like a week, I'm like, okay,
You lose your real life.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
that's a problem, and that's how I recognize that. So if I just read one book a week, and I don't have to read every night, or I'm not going through like 5 books a week, like okay, I'm good. Like that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's definitely a problem.
Yeah, I notice when I can't put the story down, when I get annoyed, when I have to like
Yeah.
stop and use the bathroom or eat food, or my eyes are killing me and I have to go to sleep and I get frustrated at that, then I know, like, oh, okay.
If I start getting upset with my children, I that's a good signal. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
nope, this is too much. Stop
Mm,
the reading. My phone gets put up, and I nope,
yeah.
because priorities.
Yeah.
Like if this is getting in the way of me being a good mom, we have a problem.
Yeah.
Anyway, what were we
Pulling
talking
back
about?
to the movies.
What were we talking about? The movies, yes.
Well, I wonder how many people resonate with what you just said because I do. I don't know. The first year I was stuck in. Wait, I'm gonna cut that out. I resonate with that. Moving on. Um, thanks for sharing.
Thanks for sharing.
I appreciate the
You're
honesty.
welcome.
uh, anyway, moving on. Back to
Movies.
the movies. Cars.
Yeah.
The movie Cars. The
Mm-hmm.
first one is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Second one is not.
I didn't like the second one.
It irked me. Mater's great,
Mater is
but
great.
in measured doses, and this was not measured.
Not a full movie. I like
Not
him
a
in
full
his little
movie. The little
shorts.
shorts are fun.
I liked his little shorts. I did not like no. I did like the third movie.
I liked it too.
Yeah, I didn't think I
I,
was going to
I,
because I told mom, I was
mhm,
like, listen, I'm kind of over the whole let's do 50 movies for this one storyline kind of a
mhm.
thing. I hate that. I really liked the third movie.
I found it very refreshing.
Uh-huh.
I watched it just recently, actually, and that for the first time.
Yeah.
It's been out for years.
Mhm.
But I didn't like the character they brought in. I think they could have changed her a bit, but
A little bit. There were some things where I was like, okay, that's not. I don't
where
know.
did she learn that? Like, I don't know. Anyway, moving on. This isn't about
Yeah,
cars.
I liked him though.
Yes,
I
and the
liked.
change he had to go through.
Yeah, I definitely had feels about that for
Yeah,
sure. I had feels about that.
yeah.
And
Change is
yeah.
what I'm getting at,
Well, and
and a
getting
sacrifice.
to the point where you can let go
Yeah.
because he didn't want to let go,
No.
but he was to that point where it was time for him to let go. No, but like you get the feels for it
Well,
because as
that
an adult, like that's
having kids, it's like, oh, it's not about me anymore. It's about them. You know,
yeah, I mean that rang
that's
really
where it
hard as an
hit
adult.
me.
I don't think that would have mattered so much as a kid,
No.
you know.
Mm-mm.
But definitely as an adult, I had
Mm.
feels about that. But just like as an adult, did you see The Good Dinosaur? Did I make you watch
You
that?
made me watch that. Yeah. Before I had kids, though.
Oh, okay, you gotta watch that now. I turned into a
Mm-hmm.
fat marshmallow watching that. I will have you all know I was not a marshmallow before I had children. I had kids and now I'm a marshmallow.
Squishy
Yes.
and sweet.
Nah, maybe not the sweet part, but I'm definitely a marshmallow. I'm very squishy emotionally too.
I love you,
Physically and
squishy
emotionally.
daddy.
I love you, squishy dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, emotionally and physically, I'm very squishy. But that one kills me. I cry every single time I watch The Good Dinosaur. And I love the T-Rex cowboys.
They're so cool.
I love
Okay.
the T-Rex
Anyway,
cowboys.
but
But yeah.
story. What I think I've noticed, and tell me, with regards to a good story or a
Mhm.
good character,
Yeah.
good story, right?
Yeah.
Good story. There needs to be a change and a sacrifice. Is something I've noticed because with Cars as an
Yeah.
example, he was a jerk and he thought everything was about him, and he was wrong.
Right.
He learns to care about others, and in the sacrifice he makes to show that is he gives up the dream that he's been pursuing for the entire movie just to help someone else because that person is like someone he disliked but he learned to care for even though they hated him, you know. So that was a sacrifice. Things like, what else is there? Stick with Disney movies because I
I'm gonna
like
say with
them.
Disney movies. Well, I don't know. My favorite movies are things like The Last Samurai or
That's a good one. Yeah.
Gladiator or The
Way to go deep.
Patriot. Well, you know what I mean? Like you have to be in a certain mood for that,
Yeah, I
if
haven't
I'm
been in that
feeling
mood for a
broody.
long time.
If I'm feeling broody and I need a dose of hard reality. No.
Oh.
But I like those. Why? Because they are full of what you have to have, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to be brave. You have to be able to sacrifice. And I mean, that means everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's unwillingly sacrifice, but it has all the qualities of what I find to be a principled person,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I find that a lot more now, stories about parents mean much more to me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and maybe that doesn't apply so much to The Last Samurai, but that was that's such a good show. Or like The Arrival. I really like The
I
Arrival.
have not stopped thinking about that movie since you made me watch it. And I think
It's
you're right.
something
She is
else,
an
huh?
awesome heroine.
She is
That,
she
ooh.
is like what I see as, I mean, a fantastic heroine story. I get
Mm-hmm.
really annoyed with the I can beat guys up. I'm like, no, you can't. Shut up. No, you can't.
Well, that's
Speaking,
coming from a farrier, a woman in a very
well,
manly profession.
I was in the military too. Like I am well aware that there
Mm-hmm.
are maybe one or two females that could hold their own in a situation, and the rest of them, that's a whole nother topic. We should stop talking about that. But in all reality, like, no, no, you can't. Like,
Mm-hmm.
shut up. Um, I admire women who are willing and able to put their head down and keep moving, even when they've been beaten down, you know. No, did you watch The English?
Mm-mm.
She is a good heroine. I loved her. Oh yeah, the lady in The Arrival, fantastic.
Mm.
Why? Because she knew the end and she did it for her daughter.
She did it
That
anyway.
was it was so worth it because her daughter was worth it. All of it.
Oh, it makes me want to cry.
Now I'm getting
Stop
squishy.
it.
I'm getting marshmallowy. But you know what I mean? That means a lot to me.
Mhm.
Women who can do that, who can, I mean, she knew and she did it.
Mhm.
That to me means you're strong. That to me means that you are capable of so many hard things. Like it just goes beyond, I can beat guys up.
I have this innate ability that I've always had, but no one pays attention to me.
Oh, don't get me. Yeah. Oh,
No.
you know, like
I don't care.
no. Well, we talked about this, you know, with Rey and Star Wars.
Just say Ray. It doesn't belong in Star Wars.
See, this is a sensitive
The real
topic.
Star Wars retired many years ago.
I know.
Long ago.
I know. I know this is a whole it's a whole another subject. But you know what I mean? She's obnoxious. I don't like her. I don't like her.
I had even forgotten her name.
Oh,
I just know her hair somehow always looks perfect, even though she should be super sweaty and
but
stinky and
that's
grimy all the
that's
time.
you know the example of what makes a good character. Like I don't. Ugh, there was no
Princess
growth.
Leia. Let's talk about her.
I like her.
She knows what's up.
She knows what's up.
And she just keeps moving forward. Oh, something goes wrong. Okay, let's find a way out of it. Something goes wrong. Okay, let's do this.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Let's keep moving forward. Keep going. Keep going.
Right. And she was beautiful. She was feminine. She like, but she wasn't like trying to wrestle like
She wasn't
strongman
trying
people.
to, yeah, she wasn't competing with the men, even though
She,
she saved them several times.
but that's the point. She didn't have to be a man
Mm-hmm.
to do what needed to be done and save the day.
Let's all be Princess Leia.
Yeah, I'm done with that. But you know what I mean? That's I find stories where it's all about that drives me nuts. It just drives me nuts. So yeah, I like stories where the heroine is a lot like the woman in The Arrival, the woman in The English. Um, there's some other ones too, but the woman in The Last Samurai, beautiful, quiet,
Mm-hmm.
sassy. She was sassy, but I mean, she was strong, but it was graceful, and it was a feminine strong.
Mm-hmm. Anna and the King.
Oh, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think, yeah, we've forgotten what true femininity, heroinism,
Yeah.
not heroism, heroinism.
Heroism.
I'm not heroin taking.
You have to edit that out.
Oh, crap. I've forgotten too many words today. It's fine.
No, but that's,
All right.
that's why I think it's hard to define. But with kids' books, I want those kinds of same things. Like, I love the story of Hecate Peg,
So good.
right?
Well, and that mother, again, we have a mother. She gives specific instructions. Her kids.
But what did she do? She went and she saved
and
her
then
kids.
she goes and does what needs to be done to get her kids back.
Yeah.
And she's awesome.
And she's awesome. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So good. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna wrap it up for today. I think we'll have to make a sequel to the sequel.
Yeah, I don't know
someday.
if they want to listen to us chat about any of this
I don't
stuff
know.
anymore.
It's
We're
awesome.
kind of chatty.
Well, isn't that why people listen? They're like, isn't it more fun to listen to people if you're at a restaurant and the person in the booth behind you is having a really engaging conversation, and you finished your food 15 minutes ago, but you're just sipping water or pretending to and leaning back and just listening.
You know what? I get quite invested in other people's drama.
Me too.
John's always like, "You were such a weirdo. You need to stop. You need to stop." I'm paying attention. Shush yourself.
I'm enjoying this.
Listening.
Be quiet.
I'm listening. Jan is having a hard time, okay?
Edna totally stepped over the line there.
It was too far. Too far.
All right. Well, listeners, thanks so much for listening. Please subscribe, leave a comment. Hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you want to have a sequel to the sequel for this magic sister duo here.
Oh, dear.
Let me know what your NaNoWriMo goals are, and thanks for listening.
Subjects. Would you like subjects? For them to give you subjects?
Oh, yeah. I would love that. I would love that.
They should send you questions.
Also, if you're an author, man, message me at AstroJoel on Instagram.
Do it.
I will interview you. This is for you.
Sorry.
Well, it's because this mic looks like that little machine.
It's a little robot.
And Jabba Hutt's little place in Star Wars. That
sending you
to
vibes. Subscribe.
Subscribe. Love you guys.
Night, guys.
See you later. Bye.